Hello, everyone, and welcome to the April webinar for the New Growth Women's Business Series. I am Lakin Coleman. I'm a business counselor here at the Women's Business Center, and we serve 13 counties in the state of Missouri and 2 in Kansas. We are not-for-profit resource offering technical assistance, networking, access to capital, training, and any other business needs that you might have. I apologize, my voice is going. Today, we're excited to learn with Mackenzie Scherer. Mackenzie is with Mackenzie Scherer, LLC, located in Southeast Missouri, and she is a whiz on any digital marketing, I do believe. I've seen her in action. Mackenzie will be educating us today on making your business visible on Google. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the question and answer section. And I am forgetting to advance my slides. It's a good thing she is our presenter and not me. There's some information about the New Growth Women's Business Center. This webinar will be recorded, and the recording will be available on our website as well as our YouTube channel. And we encourage you to check out our social media pages for any upcoming events. And without further ado, I am going to introduce you to Miss Mackenzie and stop sharing my screen. There we go. And we'll give her a minute because I interrupted her rudely with my slideshow.
See if I can find the right tab to pull up. Technical difficulties. You tell me I'm a technical whiz, and then we have a little bit of difficulties here. There we go. Is it gonna go? There we go. Okay. Can everybody see my slides? I hope so. Today, we're going to talk about Google My Business tips and tricks. So we're going to start with a little bit about kind of how to get your Google My Business set up. And then we're going to go into some basics about posting, some basics about how to make your profile really shine with your Google My Business. So a couple questions that I typically get, I like to hit these first. Can you add a business before it actually opens? Yes, you can add a business up to a year before it opens, and it will actually show up 90 days before that open date that you set. Can Google My Business be used to replace a website? No, you're still going to want to have a business website. This is just to really help increase your ability to be seen by Google. And then the third question that I get a lot is, can I set up a Google My Business with a PO box? No, you need to actually use the address that your business is registered under. You don't have to show that address, but you have to use a physical address to sign up. So how do you actually go about setting up a Google My Business? The first thing that you're going to want to do is actually log into a Google email that you want to use to manage the account. So this could be yourbusiness@gmail.com. It's just a lot easier to use a Google email when you're setting all of this up. Or if you have a @yourwebsite.com that's ran through Google, you can use that email address to set this up as well. Let's go back. Okay, it's making sure I didn't skip a slide. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to type the name of your business into google.com. In some cases, you're going to see your business pop up, and if it says unclaimed listing, so this little red box right here where it says own this business, claim it now. If you see own this business, claim it now, it means nobody has claimed your business listing. So then you're going to go to business.google.com and type in the name of your business. And this is going to be the first steps to actually getting your business. So what happens if you're a newer business and you type your name in and it's not showing? Don't freak out. You just have to create the listing yourself. So the start of all of this is going to be business.google.com. So this is going to be where you set up your full business profile. You're going to click to add your business to Google. And then you're going to type the name of your business and you're going to select whichever business category you're in. And you're going to go ahead and click that next button that's down at the bottom. So in some cases, which is very rare, you're going to have a situation where someone might have actually claimed your business. So if you go through this process and you see that that's happened, you can send a message to say that you're requesting ownership of this business profile. And if your request is approved, then you'll be notified by email, and then you'll be able to actually manage your business. But if the request is denied, you'll be notified by an email, and you can still suggest edits to the profile, and you might actually be able to appeal this request. So this would be like, an example I've seen of this is a marketing company has actually created a Google My Business for a business owner, and then they had a falling out and the business owner couldn't have access to their Google My Business anymore. So this is kind of one of those processes that you would have to go through in this situation to reclaim ownership of your business. And then if you don't hear back and you don't get a response after 3 days, you might actually have the option to claim it without the other party having to say that, yes, you can claim it. So that's a whole situation that occasionally you get into. So a tip to avoid all of that is always be the admin to your Google My Business account. So if you have a third-party business set this up for you, always make sure it is your email address that is used to set this up with. That way they can't hold it hostage from you. So let's go back into more about how to actually set this listing up. So when you go to set your listing up, we said you have to select a category. So you have primary categories and you have secondary categories. And between these two sets of categories, there's about 4,000 of them. So there's a lot to choose from. And some of these categories actually give you different options with your Google My Business listing. So for example, if you are a hotel and you select that as your category, you can get things like list of amenities that you can select. So do you have Wi-Fi? Do you have hot tubs? Do you have free breakfast? You'll have a lot of these things that you can select to add to your profile. Same thing with food and drink businesses. So if you've ever went to a restaurant and checked out their Google My Business, where it says menu, where they can actually add their menu to this as well. So there's a lot of different features that are offered based on what category that you select for your business. And categories are super, super important. You can select up to 10 categories for your business, but you don't want to select all of them. You only want to select the most relevant to your business. So a great example is if you're a restaurant, instead of just selecting restaurant, select Egyptian restaurant or Indian restaurant. That way it tells exactly what type of food that you guys have. Utilize those category specific features that we just talked about. So if you're a hotel, be sure to utilize that you have free breakfast or Wi-Fi or whatever those are. And utilize attributes for potential customers. So if you're a coffee shop, a really big attribute is free Wi-Fi. So business owners would like to go and work in your establishment. So the next thing I brought up a little bit earlier is you have to use a physical address to set up your Google My Business, but you don't have to actually show that address on the front end. So you can select no to is your business a public location. So that hides the address from the public. That way people don't see your address. If you do have a storefront, you would click yes, and then you can use your storefront address so people know where you're at. So the next thing is service areas. So your business is going to have service areas. You might only serve 50 miles away from a specific area, or you might serve all of Kansas City or all of Springfield or wherever you're at. So you can select either distance from a location. You can select specific cities also. So if you service an entire state, you can also select a whole state. Or nationwide. So you can really get specific so people know exactly what areas you serve and you aren't trying to show up in other searches. And as for a recommendation, don't extend the boundaries of your overall area further than 2 hours driving time from where your business is based. So what I mean by this is if you are a pest control company, for example, and you don't have multiple locations, you're going to want to keep that radius within 2 hours, because Google's going to start seeing that as, okay, maybe you don't actually service these areas that you're saying you service. And this will also come up if you do random cities, or it seems kind of random and you don't have locations in those cities. So sometimes that can get a little wonky with Google when you do that service area. Phone number and website. So it's always great to have your website and have some type of contact number. And if you don't want to use your personal number, you can also set up a Google My Voice number completely for free and attach that as the phone number. And if you don't have a website, you can also get a free Google website. So it's a super, super basic, typically like a one-page website through Google. But if you don't have the funds to get a professional website or the capabilities to build one yourself, this is a great option just to get something out there. So once you go through, you've got your whole listing set up, you're going to end up getting a postcard to verify your listing. So that's going to take 1 to 2 weeks to receive. In some cases, you might actually get an email with a code, or you can do phone automated voice calling. So they'll actually just call and automatically send you this code. In a few cases, if you've had a website for an extended period of time and you have like a Google Search Console connected with it, or some other Google products connected with your website, sometimes you can get instant verification with your Google My Business listing, and you don't have to go through waiting for the postcard and typing it in. So your Google My Business will not show up until you finish that verification process. There's also local Google verifiers that will typically charge you like $100 just to do instant verification, and I wouldn't recommend wasting the money on that. Just go ahead and get the free verification way. And what's really cool is once you get your Google My Business set up, you can go to bingplaces.com and you can click sign in using my Google account, and you can actually connect your Google My Business with Bing My Business. That way you don't even have to set up another profile for your business. So that's 2 instant ways. And you can actually select to sync with Google My Business. So anytime you update and change things on Google My Business, it will change it on Bing My Business as well. And a lot of people don't know that you can do that. And then here's some basic steps on how to do that. Something that's really, really important when you're looking at your listings and trying to get everything set up is, one, you need to make sure that everything is filled out in your Google My Business listing. It's going to give you a little percentage of saying like, hey, 86% of your profile is complete, or 50% of your profile is complete. And it'll give you a list of what sections aren't completed. That way you can go through and make sure that everything's taken care of. You're going to want to make sure that both your business name and address match exactly to any other listings that you have across the web. I actually had a situation where one of my businesses was flagged through Google My Business, and I had to take a picture of my office front that had signage and all kinds of stuff and send it to Google to get it re-verified, because my address was different. My office address was different than what my actual LLC address was at the time. And you're going to want to make sure that your business name is identical to how it appears in the real world. So if your business is XYZ, it needs to be XYZ on your Google My Business as well, because sometimes Google can see that and flag it as a false business if you're portraying a business by a different name than it actually is. So you really want to make sure that any information that you put out there is completely accurate. So another thing is they've gotten rid of the Google My Business app, and they now have integrated it with Google Maps. So if you download Google Maps, which if you've got an Android phone, you probably already have this on there, you can access a lot more features by having this app on your phone. A couple of these bonus features You can activate messages. So you can open the app up on your phone or tablet, and then you tap updates, then messages, and then business. And then you're going to tap your settings, and then you can turn on and off messaging. So this is how, if you've ever looked up a Google My Business and you see that little message button on that listing, this is because they're running it through the app on their phone or through a tablet. So it's a really easy and quick way to basically text back and forth through people who are trying to get in contact with your business, because a lot of people would prefer to text than call. A couple common issues that come up when you are actually setting up your listing is your location pin can be in the wrong spot on the map. So once you go through that verification process, you can actually drag the pin on the map to whatever the proper location is of your office. That way, that takes care of all of that. I've had that issue come up with a couple of my clients in the past before. Another thing is Google flags your listing. From time to time that this can happen, they'll unpublish your listing for a time until you complete the steps asked of you by Google. So that's kind of like what happened to me with my business. Is I didn't have the business listed exactly the same with the addresses. So I just had to go through that verification process, and then they put my listing back up. So now we've kind of went through that whole setup phase and just getting to where you have a Google My Business. So now let's actually talk about, how do you get your Google My Business to show up? How do you improve your ranking? How does this all connect? So when Google My Business is looking at if it should show your business as one of the top results, it looks at three things. It's going to look at the relevance of your business to the search. So if somebody searches for Egyptian restaurant, is that what's in those categories of your business? The next thing is distance. How far is your business from what they're searching for? So if they're searching for Egyptian restaurant in Springfield, Missouri, and you're in Kansas City, Missouri, it looks at that distance to make sure that it's showing the right result for that. And then the last thing is prominence. So this is how well is a business known. So Google will actually take a look at any type of newspaper articles, anything that your business has been published in or talked about in, to see and weigh if your business is a real business. So it really wants those businesses that have that higher prominence, because that shows that they're less likely to be a scam business, and it's more likely that they're going to serve the customer better. A couple things I want to go over with this is keyword basics, because you need to have keywords in the different sections of your Google My Business to really get the most out of it. So what is a keyword? Basically, a keyword is a word that's used to classify or organize digital content. So a keyword would be restaurant. And then a key phrase would be Egyptian restaurant in Springfield, Missouri. So the more specific that you get with some of these things, the easier it is for people to find you. And it's super important, because keywords are how search engines actually go through and figure out if your listing is going to be relevant to what the person is searching for. And then another thing is, how do you choose what keywords you should use? Well, you should look at your analytics, because you'll be able to see what people searched when they were looking for you. And you're going to look at your competitors. So when you search for something in your category, what competitors come up? Read through their profiles, see what they've done, what words did they use to come up, and do a couple different types of searches. So, search for Egyptian restaurant, search for different variations of basically the same search, to see if those same competitors keep popping up in every search. And that's going to give you a really good idea of what wording you should use in your profile to help be seen. And this can be used for websites as well. Let's see here. So I want to kind of talk a little bit about some of the analytics, because analytics are your friend. but they can really help your business if you understand at least some of the basics of it. So a couple of the stats that matter when you're looking at your Google My Business profile is the number of business profile interactions. So this is going to be the number of views of people who've seen your profile. The next section is going to be how people discovered you. So what's really, really cool about this section is that it actually breaks things down based on device and platform. And it also breaks down the searches. So by device and platform, what I mean is you can see who's visiting and looking at your listing through phone, through desktop, through tablet. And searches breakdown actually tells you what phrases were used to pop up in the search. So you can see how people are actually finding your business. Another stat that matters is calls. So you can see how many people are calling you. And this is more important if you're like a hotel or a restaurant, something that's kind of more of a customer service type thing. Less important if you are like a shopping center or something like that. You're not typically going to get calls as often, but the calls are going to let you know, are people seeing your information? Are people interested in the information? And you can follow up with your employees to see, hey, we got these calls from these people, you know, what's going on? We didn't have any turnovers from this. And you can actually use that as kind of an internal marker to see, you know, are your people taking calls properly? Messages, that's where I said you can pull it up and basically text with clients, and you can see, you know, are people reaching out to you? Do people actually see your service as helpful? And then the last thing is website clicks. So you can see how many times people click through to your website to learn more about your business. So now that we've kind of talked about some of the very basics of it, a lot of people don't realize that they can actually post things to their Google My Business. It's similar to most other social media platforms. You just don't post as often to it. So photos and videos are incredibly important. A business profile with photos is 35% more likely to have a user click through to their website. So if you've got some photos of, you know, your team, of your building, of, you know, you guys out doing the work, people are more likely to actually click through to learn more about you and see what's going on with your website. And you want to make sure that you have quality photos that you add. Something that most people don't realize is that anyone can actually add photos. So if someone takes the selfie of your business, they can add it themselves. You're going to want to add photos on a pretty regular basis. So if you add like one photo every week here and there, that's going to be really helpful to show that your listing is active and your business is active. And a really cool trick is something called geotagging photos. So if you've ever pulled up your phone and you've clicked on a photo that you've taken on your phone and you see it say, and you can actually search your photos based on location. It's kind of the same thing if you take that photo and upload it to Google. What this means is there is a location that you provide services in Springfield, Missouri, and you have a bunch of pictures of Springfield, Missouri. Those photos are probably going to be geotagged if you did it on your phone. So Google's going to see that and notice that and start making you a higher prominence in that area. So what are some of the types of photos and videos that you're going to want to include? You're going to want to include some customers that are okay with being having photos taken of them. Office photos, because people like to know what your office looks like. Is it welcoming? Is it kind of scary to go into? If you have some very welcoming office pictures, people are more likely to actually come in. You're also going to want team photos because people want to know who they're talking to and who they're dealing with. So videos, when you add videos, you're going to want to do short little introductions or week we've got this really cool special we're running. We hope you guys come in and check out our special. It's this, you know, see you soon. The videos don't have to be long or complicated. Just try to keep them short and simple. And another thing is to use your logo as your thumbnail. That way people see your signage and they automatically connect it with your Google My Business profile. So there's a whole lot of types of posts that you can actually do. One of the types of post is COVID-19 update. This isn't used as much as it used to be. You can do add an offer, you can do add update, add event, or add product. And we're going to dive into each of these posts a little bit more. That way I can kind of explain how to use each of these. So the first type of post is COVID-19 update. And these were a lot more popular in the past couple of years. The popularity of these have died down quite a bit. But if you do one of these types of posts are talking about what types of cleaning practices you're using to make sure it's sanitary. Do you have any changes in hours? And sometimes this one can still apply because you're having trouble hiring after the pandemic. So you might have had to change your hours based on this. And basically any business adjustments you've had to make to deal with the whole pandemic situation. It's just nice to let customers know that you're thinking of this, you're keeping these things in mind. And like I said, this one's not as popular as it used to be when everybody was a lot more concerned about this. So here's one that's super, super helpful. It's the add offer. So this post will only show for a limited time. This is typically what you're going to post if you have some type of coupon or some type of short-term you're running. Basically, this is what you're going to use to try to get those people in for types of discounts. You're going to have to select a time frame for your offer to run. And I believe you can only run it for up to a month on this one. Don't quote me on that. It might have changed. But you have to select a time frame up. Google will automatically remove that offer post from public view. So you don't have to remember to come back and remove that coupon post or anything like that, because Google will automatically remove that for you, which can be really helpful if you've got like a 24-hour flash sale or something like that, where you really don't want people constantly asking. So the next one is add update. So this is what you're going to use to tell your customers about your business. Customers love a business that they can connect with and feel like they have something in common with. So if you've got new team members or new locations, this is a great thing to post. Post a fun fact about your team members, or post anything that you feel customers would be interested to know about your business. Are you going through a rebranding period? Are you trying out some new marketing? Are you launching new things that you feel your customers would be really interested in? This is a super helpful thing to do. And these posts last for 7 days, and then they automatically expire. So these posts are gone after 7 days. So they're great for just short-term, quick little updates. The next one is events. So any type of event that you're having, so a workshop, a class, anything like this that you're having in order to draw people in, you're going to want to do the add events. And with this one, you're also going to have to specify a specific time frame that this event is running. So if you're having a 2-day event that's a concert, you're going to have to select those times that the concert's in place. And that's the time that you'll see this a lot. Your workshop and classes, there's some cool things you can do where you can connect it to your website and have it go directly to your ticket sales page. There's a lot of ways you can use this to help promote any type of event you're doing and try to help up those ticket sales. The next one is add product. So this is going to be for your product or service launches. So anytime you have new products, new services coming out, anything like that, It's a great way to just kind of get the notoriety out that you've got this coming out. You're going to want to have a really nice, high quality product picture. You're going to want to have a description and a price range. And in this description, that's where you're going to want to have your keywords in this as well that we talked about a little bit earlier. So if you're having some type of sneakers for sale, what type of sneakers are they? What would somebody search to find this pair of sneakers? You're really going to want to get detailed and know exactly how people are typically searching for that type of product or service before you do a product post with Google. And these product posts are automatically going to expire after 7 days. So this is a great thing to connect with like the promotional posts. So the offer posts that we talked about earlier have like some type of coupon where, hey, we're launching this new product and for X amount of days, you have 10% off if you purchase. So it's a great way where you can connect a couple different types of posts to really get the most out of all of this. And just talking about keywords a little bit more for a second, you really have to try a couple different searches and start seeing if your competitors come up, because you're really going to want to make sure that you're getting the most out of these posts. So really pay attention to what keywords you're using. And another thing with those is don't put too many keywords. You want it below 30% of your entire text. And that's because you'll get flagged for something called keyword stuffing. And basically that says you take a lot of different keywords and you just shove them into a little bitty spot, and it doesn't actually tell your customers what you're wanting to do. So just be kind of careful with that when you get into descriptions. So a couple tips and tricks when you're doing all of this posting is, like I said, combine offer and product posts, because it's a great way to drive up some sales for new products. Use good quality images and videos. Nobody wants to see really blurry images or poorly sounded videos or anything like this. You're going to want to keep your post under about 300 characters. And that's just, people don't read that much. You just want something simple that explains what it is. You're not writing a novel with this. You're going to want to select the right call to action buttons. So some of these call to action buttons can be shop, or, you know, get offer, things like that. So you're going to want to make sure that you look and you pick the right one. And then you're going to want to be familiar with Google posting rules, which we're going to go over some of those here in just a second, because you can get your post taken down just like with social media. So just some general posting rules is you need to keep your post on topic. So if you're talking about a new employee, keep it directly about the new employee. Google does flag spam pretty often. So if you've got poor content, which could be that keyword stuffing that I talked about just a second ago, that can be considered poor content. Poor content can also be considered anything that goes really off topic of what you're trying to post. Any unsafe links that are in that content, and any links that go to sites that are not relevant to what you're currently talking about. All of those things are considered spam. And if you get flagged enough for spam, they can completely take down your Google My Business listing. You're going to want to keep all content G-rated. You don't want any inappropriate content. Do not put any private information of anybody. You don't want to have any type of misleading claims. So saying that, you know, this water cures every disease out there, that's a misleading claim, and that can get you taken down as well. There's some heavily regulated industries. So like if you sell any type of alcohol or drugs, because I know cannabis businesses are starting to get out there, any adult services, health and medical, weapons, financial services, you can post, but you just can't post the products in most of those cases. So you're going to want to try to post at least once a week. This shows that your stuff's active. This shows that your business is still a relevant business. Reviews are something that are incredibly important. This is what helps with your prominence as well. and your relevance as well. So when you have a customer that just absolutely loves your business, you're going to want to send those customers a review link. So this is the back end of a Google My Business profile. And you can see in that red box, I've got showed get more reviews, and you hit share profile, and it's going to give you a link that you can then send to customers to start getting reviews. So with this, there's a little caveat to that, and I'll touch on that in just a minute, but sending it to a lot of customers at a quick amount of time is not a good thing. And I'm going to go more in depth in that in just a second. You're going to want to always respond to bad reviews, because your reviews are going to increase your reliability. And when people see you responding to bad reviews and addressing a situation, a customer is going to be more likely to trust your business than if you just ignore those situations. And always make sure that that response is a very polite, well-handled response. And you're going to want to make customers feel more comfortable about purchasing from your business. Because I mean, the first thing we always do when we're looking at, somewhere to go eat is, oh, what are their reviews like? That's how important reviews are to a business anymore. And like I was saying, you do not want to have a lot of reviews posted in the same week. So I actually had a client that had well over 400 reviews for their business profile, and they had been sending this link on a regular basis. And they had a lot of customers at the same time posting reviews. So Google flagged their entire profile as spam and ended up deleting their entire Google My Business profile. So they lost the hundreds of reviews that they had. And there was no way of recovering that after it was gone. So it was just a bad situation for that business when they had worked super, super hard to get those reviews built up in the first place. So if you're a business that have a lot of reviews, don't send that link anymore. Just let people naturally find your Google My Business and review it, or just say, hey, I hope you go review our profile. You can do it by searching for our business and doing clicking the review button, but just don't send that link anymore. Because like I said, it's really, really hurt a lot of businesses who have had a lot of reviews and they keep sending that link out, because Google sees that as spam, and it's not a fun situation for the business. The last thing I want to hit on in this presentation is tools. So Google loves having things all within Google. They like having a monopoly on things. So you can actually go to thinkwithgoogle.com/tools, and you can find a whole host of completely free tools to use that's going to help you get your business out there better. So Market Finder, Google Trends, and Find My Audience are the three tools that I recommend using. Market Finder is really cool. This is going to help you if you're trying to go out for a new business idea and you aren't really sure, what should I do with this market? So it lets you kind of see what the market looks like. Is there space for this new product? Is there a big saturation of this item for sale? So it really helps you kind of narrow that down and figure out who you should be selling to. Google Trends. So if you have a product, you can see if it's something that's a trend item or if it's something that's consistent year round. So for example, if you go to Google Trends and you search Christmas trees, you'll see that it's pretty flat most of the year, and then it spikes around like October. And then after December, it drops again, because that's what's considered a trend item. And you can do this for all types of products. And then the last thing is Find My Audience. And what this helps to do is find out who those people are that are specifically searching for your types of products. And it gives you some more details about them. So you can see who should you actually be trying to target for your product, some demographics about them. And it helps you keep from wasting a lot of marketing dollars, especially when you're a small business. Those marketing dollars are really hard to come about. And speaking of marketing dollars, a lot of times when you first set up your Google My Business, they have a cost matching kind of thing. So if you put $100 in towards running ads for Google My Business, they'll give you a $500 matcher to really try to get you to do more ads. So you need to be a little bit careful about that, because if you don't know what you're doing with running ads, you can kind of get into some trouble and spend a lot of money and not get anything out of it. So just make sure you've got an expert, or you know what you're doing when you run those Google ads. All right. And then feel free to contact me. And then I'll turn it back over to Lakin and see if we've got some questions. And I hope you guys learned some.
Don't have any questions yet, but feel free to pop those in the question and answer or the chat, guys. And thank you, Mackenzie.
I know we went over a lot of information, and it can kind of be overwhelming for people. So if you guys come up with questions later,
all the notes.
If you come up with questions later, feel free to email me those questions, and I will try to answer them the best I can.
Give you guys just a couple minutes if you haven't, or maybe a minute. I don't know if I'm going to stay on here a couple minutes, but if you have any questions, Christian said, thank you, Mackenzie. And I say thank you, Mackenzie, because my sticky note full of notes obviously says I needed this. You are a wealth of knowledge to the WBC. Okay, I don't see any. So with that being said, go like us on social media. Go check out Mackenzie on, I'm sure, social media and Google. I'm going to Google her in a minute. I don't know about you guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We can get you in contact with Mackenzie, or this presentation will be on our website with a slideshow, so you can get her contact information again. Again, just thank you, Mackenzie. This has been a great webinar. We appreciate your time, and we will see everybody next month.